is August 4th, 2026 edition of Hockey Tuesday. Welcome in. This is my first hockey sports segment, not on Thursday. Again, we're going to be doing these on Tuesday as well as NFL Tuesdays, but they're different videos, obviously, because of my 4-day stream schedule. So that's what we're doing here. We are back here. Welcome in, August 4th, 2026 edition of this Hockey Tuesday. I'm going to go back to full screen so we know what we are doing here.
Yeah,
We are going to NHL transactions. Will be pretty quick. There's not much like crazy stuff happening. And then we're gonna do NHL tier list of all the teams. This would be pretty fun. And then we're gonna go over PWHL signings, college hockey teams update, college hockey, D1 men's college hockey, AHL, CHL, and USHL team league news and updates. Talk about all of that, and that's what we are doing today. So nothing too crazy here, right? Nothing too crazy. So Sean Farrell, 1 year, $850,000 contract extension with Anaheim. WHL. But ELC, never know. Or league minimum, not ELC, but league minimum. And then Macklin Celebrini, 5-year, $94 million contract extension. Huge contract extension, highest paid player in the NHL at this point. Yeah. He deserves it. He 100% deserves it. Just obviously top 3 point getter last year at 18 on a pretty mid team. And yeah, that's just so impressive. He 100% deserves it.
Like he's a good hockey player since he
played in the Chicago Steel. I watched him play in real life a few times. It's pretty cool. And we got a couple of other signings here, 3 in a row here. And Colin Graff, 3-year, $12.75 million contract extension with the Sharks. Yeah, nice little like. What would it be, like a 3x3? About a $3.31 million, just $3.1 million per year. 3-year, $3.31 million per year, something like that. Regardless, contract extension's good. Why'd you run into my elbow? You literally did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Good middle six, undrafted. He was undrafted. He did pretty good last year. He's gonna be a good middle six piece, for sure. And then we also got Tommy Novak, 3-year, $13.95 million contract extension. He's pretty good for the contract extension. Why you have my Chicago Blackhawks flag? Okay, you can do that. I don't really care. Just don't put it in my face. That's all I want. But you can do whatever with it over there. And you got Tommy Novak, good bottom six center, not terrible. Pretty decent signing there. Don't mind it. And then we got Zuber, and 55 minimum contract. NHL transactions. What about chat? Just a Dorito. It's crazy. Okay. Last thing we're gonna do with NHL here is tier list. WNHL tier list. NHL tier list. Yay! This is for next year. This is next year's. This is for next year. It's fine. Just keep it down a little bit. Thank you. This is next year's tier. Like what I think these teams are heading into next year. Here are the tiers. Cup contenders. Obviously, the teams that are competing for the cup. Playoff teams that are going to be in the playoffs, but just not really cup contenders. Wildcard fight teams are going to be in or around the wildcard area. Close but not quite there. Teams that are going to be competing for a wildcard spot, but just not quite there yet. Just a little bit below wildcard fight. And stinky teams, you know. So those are the 5 tiers. Simple. You know, you got to kind of get the idea of it's pretty simple, you know. Going ahead into this year. What we're kind of thinking here. I'm not gonna go in any particular order. I'm gonna mess up this order unintentionally or intentionally, completely random. I don't know where I'm putting these teams. I'm just putting them somewhere.
Put them somewhere for just because you want to.
Yes, I'm changing this around. For no particular reason. I'm moving this team down. I'm moving this team down. I'm moving this team up. This team up. This team like up to the front. This down. These guys down. This guy's down. This guy up a bit. These guys up here. These guys down there. You know. Okay. So it's pretty random at this point. Here's what we're gonna do.
But yeah.
We're just gonna go through here and we're gonna. I kind of want to do this team first.
But yeah.
No particular reason.
Why not do Maple Leafs first and then do Blackhawks second?
Well, I'm gonna do Blackhawks second.
And Mammoth third.
Mammoth third.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he just told us what we want to do. We'll do Islanders fourth.
Because Toronto is still first, but Well,
Oh,
we
Brett.
still have some different ones.
I'm gonna change the game category real quick over here. E1992, not good. Hockey VR, no. Hockey tennis. I'm gonna switch
Hockey tennis? What
to
kind of thing is hockey tennis?
ice hockey. Ice hockey, perfect.
Yeah, ice hockey. That's what we want. That's what we want. Why does that kind of look like a little ghost face?
Sure. What?
Right there.
It does. That's weird. Okay, we're getting into this right here. Okay, listen. We're getting into this right here. Toronto Maple Leafs, high-end playoff team. High-end playoff team.
Yeah.
Listen, I genuinely believe this team will be competing for the Atlantic Division title next year. I don't think they're gonna win it. I think they're gonna be number 2 or 3 in the Atlantic.
It is close.
This forward core is so good. You got the first line of Easton Cowan, Austin Matthews, and Matthew Knight. That's a good first line. Obviously, Matthew stay healthy. He's a former 69 goal scorer. He's one of the most elite goal scorers in the league. I'm predicting him to win the Rocket Shard next season. And then you have Matthew Knight, who's definitely an 80-point player. He's a power forward. He could protect Matthews. And then you also got Easton Cowan with that young spirit. Just came off an AHL championship, and he's going to be really fun in the first line as well. Pair as a playmaker next to Austin Matthews. What?
I don't watch hockey that much, but I know that the Toronto Maple Leafs are a good team.
Yeah. And they got the second line is Gavin McKenna, the first overall pick. William Nylander, who could be at 90 to 100 points a year. And John Tavares, who can definitely get you 70 to 80 points with phenomenal faceoffs and win him a lot of possession. And then you also got third line of bottom 6 of like Dakota Joshua. And a couple good pieces I can't think of the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about. Good pieces. And obviously I added Darren Radich, who's going to be the number 1 defender, could produce offense, number 1 power play, help that power play. Obviously, Chris Tatum's coming back is very underrated. Can get you 30, 40 points in a shutdown defenseman. And Morgan Riley and Jake McCabe. And they have a very good decor, play a lot of defense. They got 3 goals. Anthony Stolarz, I think this season's going to really depend on Anthony Stolarz. That's what's keeping me out of the Cup contenders is the goaltending situation. Obviously, the playoff history. But the goaltending, Anthony Stolarz had a really good 2024 year. It was hurt last year, and I don't know if he's going to be able to bounce back in 2026 to really become that number 1 goaltender that can lead into the playoffs. I don't know, we'll see, but I'm going to keep him in playoff teams for now, and we can always move him around. Blackhawks, this team's interesting to me. I'm going to put them in a wild card fight. I genuinely, where you going? What, you at that? Okay, I just want to know where you're going. Wild card fight. I think this team added enough. I think obviously that first line, the Connor Bedard, Patrick Kane, and Tyler Bertuzzi will be a good line. I think when they're healthy, Bedsy can definitely get 90 points on an 82-game scale. Cause obviously, he won't play the 82 games, but 90. So he'll probably end up getting like 80 points in like 65, 70 games. But whatever the case may be, he's going to be doing that. He's going to be doing great. Patrick Kane's going to get you probably like 70 points, 60, 70 points. And then Bertuzzi will get you probably 30 and 30. So like probably like 60 points. And then you also got that third line of Frank Nazar, Anton Fundol, and Roman Kancherov will be a young line. It's going to be very fun. Frankie probably gets 60 points, Fundell probably gets 60 points, and Kancherov will probably also get about 60 points. It's a very good line. And then you obviously got the depth with like Donato and Turbo Teravainen, and you know, fun piece of and more Ryan Green, Nick Largis. Like they have a fun team. I think it's forward goes a little bit deeper than people want to say. And I think Bo Byron being on that first pair and first power play, he's gonna get 60. He's gonna get at least 60 points next season. I really believe that he's gonna get 60 points at least next season. You also got players like Autumn Levshunov and Vlasic, who's a shutdown defender. Levshunov in the second pair, I think he really needs to take a step up. You also got like Alexander Mashal might play, Kwiatkowski might take a step up. White Kaiser on like that third pair maybe. And then yeah, like their decoy is not as bad as what people want to say. And Spencer Knight is a top 10 to 12 goalie in the league. I think this team will be in a playoff fight. I think they're young. I think Chicago's gonna be rocking. I think there's a lot of good energy around the players. I think they're deep. I think they're young. And I think it's gonna be growing pains. And I think they're gonna just miss the playoffs, but they're gonna be right there to the very end. I'll tell you that. And with the Mammoth, it's a playoff team. This is a playoff team. Do I have them above the Maple Leafs though? I would say, because the Maple Leafs, there's no guarantee the Maple Leafs are going to make the playoffs because they're in a tough division, but I think Mammoth is pretty likely to make the playoffs. Mammoth, they have a very good and deep forward core. Their forward core is deep, and then you also got a pretty decent, I think their defensive depth is questionable, but I think it's good enough, and I think Philip Malka is also a pretty decent goalie. I think they got goaltending concerns maybe a little bit when it comes deep in the playoffs, maybe defense slightly. But, I mean, overall, they got a very good offense. They got good talent on all 3 levels. And I think this team will be a pretty safe playoff team in the Central Division. You got the Islanders, stinky. They don't have very much star talent. I mean, obviously outside of Schaefer, but the forward core is mid at best. Matthew Schaefer's obviously good, but outside of Matthew Schaefer, they don't got much defensive depth. Sorokin is like a top 5 goalie in the league, probably, I would say. Around top 5 to 7 goalie, top 5 to 7. I would say probably a top 5 goalie in the league for sure. He's a very, very good goalie. They just don't really have much talent outside of Matthew Schaefer, and that forward core doesn't have much talent. Obviously got like Mike Buzzell and whatnot, but I guess they'll finish with the bottom of the Metro for sure. It's not a great team. Blues, I have them squeaking into the playoffs over the Blackhawks. Unfortunately, I could see the Blackhawks getting over there, and obviously I'm gonna cheer for them to get there, and I'm gonna believe.
We hope the Blackhawks get past.
And I'm gonna believe all season that they're gonna get there. But if I'm thinking unbiasedly, I could probably think the Blues are probably gonna get slightly over them.
Yeah, because
Well, think about that. I think their forward core is super deep.
sometimes I do. My second favorite team is the Blackhawks, but I feel like the Blues have a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup instead of the Blackhawks. I just think they have a better chance.
I just think the forward core is shown so much because obviously when they started to get healthy last season, they were really good to the stretch, and obviously what they did 2 years ago was so impressive. And they're running back, obviously Dylan Holloway, like they have a lot of talent in that forward core. Obviously they lost Kyrie, but who had a down season, they added McMichaels, a little bit more of a physical presence as well. I think the forward core is deep. I think they have good defense. I think they're a good decor, and I think Joel Harford and Bennington's a pretty. I think Harford will be a good starter next year. And I think they'll squeak them into the playoffs. I think they're towards the top of the wild card fight. Penguins. They'll be in the wild card fight. I have them finishing like 5th, or I think I have them finishing like 5th in the Metro. They'll be in the wild card fight. I don't think they'll be like too overly close to the wild card, but I think they're the bottom end of the wild card fight. And then you also got, I might move them down though. We'll see. Then you got Calgary Flames. They're stinky. Their forward core is arguably the worst in the league. Their D core is okay. I mean, Alex Zemperek, but D core is okay. And they have a good goalie, but that's about it. But they're stinky. I would even have the Islanders over them. Like, they're just not a good team. The Kings, they're going to be in a wild card fight. I think they're definitely going to be fight. You know what? No. I'll put them in a playoff team. I really believe they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're finishing 3rd in the Metro. Basically, even if they don't make the playoffs, I think they get a wild card spot. I think they're a playoff team. I like the forward core. I do like the forward core. I think the forward core is pretty decent. I think it's relatively deep. I think the D core is so good defensively, and I think they have good goaltending. I think they're a playoff team out of the poor division in the Metro. And then you also got the Lightning, who I don't know if I want to put them in cup contenders or playoff team. I don't really, honestly. It's gonna be like 5 teams. I gotta think what team to be over them. Okay, yeah, no, they're towards the top of playoff team. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think I have them getting 2nd wild card team, but that's like the worst case scenario for them. I think they're making the playoffs regardless, and I think when they get in the playoffs, this is also accounting for like what I think they could do in the playoffs. It's not necessarily just strictly standings, because I think they make the playoffs regardless, but I think they could do more in the playoffs than the Mammoth, Leafs, and the Kings. I'm including that in this conversation. So I think they make the playoffs out of the tough Atlantic. I think they finish top 5 in the Atlantic, and I think all the top 5 teams in the Atlantic will make the playoffs. Realistically, and I think this team could make a run in the playoffs. Obviously, the older, but they're gonna have like maybe 2 years left, including this year. So like this year and next year, but probably gonna be the last 2 chances to really make a run, and they're gonna have to do it soon. Canucks, I would actually have them over the Flames. I think the Canucks aren't as bad as people think. I think they have a couple of good pieces at the top of the forward core, that could make the offense somewhat competent. I think their defense is okay, and I think they got decent goaltending. But they're just not better than the Islanders or anybody else, really. Vegas Golden Knights are the first cup contenders, the 100% cup contenders. They obviously just came off the cup contender. The only real loss that they had this offseason was Dorofeyev, which is something that it's fine. Obviously going to suck to lose like a 37-goal scorer, but I think they can make it up. Obviously, lost John Tortorella over the offseason, the coach, but he was only there for a couple of months, so that'll be fine as well. I think they take a slight step down from last year, and finishing second in the Pacific and losing in the second round to Edmonton. But I do think the 100% cup contenders. I could easily see them going to the conference finals. Like definitely, I could see them going back to the cup. Like I wouldn't be surprised. They're definitely a Stanley Cup contender, and this team's forward core is still very good. D core is very good. Goaltending, I think it's good. Still questionable, but good. And they're definitely cup contenders. Florida Panthers, top tier cup contenders. Let's be honest here. Florida Panthers cup contenders. They're getting healthy again. They added Brady Tkachuk. They added a couple other pieces. Well, they added a couple depth guys. They're obviously getting healthy. Reinhart, Bennett, Tkachuk. All those guys are getting healthy. Barkov's going to actually be here this season. I think D-Core took a step up. They obviously lost Bobrovsky, but he was older. They got Markstrom in return, so they got to upgrade in net because obviously Bobrovsky's better like a couple years ago, but he's getting older. I think Markstrom will be good behind the Florida Panthers in the Panther system. I think Panthers are a top 3 cup contender in the whole league. Like, they're our top tier team. And they're about the Knights for me. And then we got the Devils. I think they'll be in the wild card fight. No, I'm going to say close, but not quite there.
Yeah, close, but not quite.
I think they're a decent team, but there are just too many teams when it comes to the Atlantic. It's going to be stacked. I just don't think they're quite there to make the playoffs in the stacked Eastern Conference wildcard race.
Good, but they're not that good.
Yeah. I'm going to put the Blue Jackets in the wildcard fight. I think they'll be in the wildcard fight. I think if Adam Fantilli takes a step up to the 80-point number 1 center, and Zach Werenski stays similar to what he was last year, and Jet Grease stays around that 9-10 save percentage, I think they have good enough depth, especially if they keep Kromachenko somehow. I think this team could definitely compete for a playoff spot of the Metro.
I feel like through the wild card fight, out of anything, I'd probably pick either the Blue Jackets or the Penguins in that one because I feel like they will have a good chance.
Yeah. Canadians, interesting. I think they're a playoff team, but what they can do in the playoffs, I think it'll be like right there.
Yeah, I do that. They can do that.
Maybe like, I think I'd even have them there.
I think they kind of had that trick.
Because I think they'll make the playoffs. Someone was saying the Lightning, like the worst thing they can get is wild card too. I don't see them missing the playoffs. I have them finishing 3rd in the Atlantic right now. I think this team's so good. Like this team, they made the conference finals last year, and I think how young this team is, they're only going to get better on paper. And I think they learned a lot from their mistakes last year, and I think they're going to be they're a top playoff team, just right below cup contender territory. What are you gonna say?
I gotta say something. I feel like the Canadians would have a good chance, but they wouldn't be strong enough. They wouldn't be good enough to beat either the Knights or the Panthers. But I feel like they would be at least in the Final Four.
Yeah, again. Hurricanes, they're cup contenders. I'm going to put them right there because obviously the Panthers have had their number over the past, 5 years. Yeah. And I think they're right below them. Go ahead.
Team history that won 2 in a row of Stanley Cup.
Panthers, yeah. Not the only team.
Oh.
There's a few teams, but... Yeah. Hurricanes obviously just came off the cup win. The Oilers and the cup contenders. This team's very good. The Oilers and the cup contenders. I mean, obviously, the forward checking they have, the depth of the forward depth, the defensive depth, the buying into the system. Everybody wants to play together. The chemistry they have, this team is 100% a cup contender. They obviously proved it last year by winning the cup, but they're going to be cup contenders again, quite obviously. Capitals, you know what? Screw it. I have them in the cup contenders. I have them right here. I actually have. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, I think the Knights losing Dorofeev is really going to suck. I think Carter Hart's still questionable in net. I think they're going to lose Dorofeev, and that's going to suck. And losing John Tortorella obviously really helped them. They're struggling to make the playoffs without Tortorella. They're going to make the playoffs pretty comfortably, but it's going to be a little bit closer than people think. And listen, I think the Capitals they have a deeper forward core, in my opinion. I think they even have a better D core and better goaltending. I think there is a better team than the Knights. Yeah. Call me crazy. I don't think they have quite a good star power. That's about it. Buffalo Sabres is a playoff team for me as well. I'm going to have them right there. I'm going to have them right back there. Back here.
The question is, why would you have the Mammoths in 3rd on playoff teams? They should be at least 2nd.
I think the Lightning could make more noise. You know what? We'll put the Mammoths right over there. I think the Mammoths are good. Sabres. Listen. I think the Sabres are going to be a playoff team. I don't really see any other team in the Atlantic besides obviously 4 team Panthers, Canadians, Lightning, and Leafs. that could overtake them. But even if they get in the wild card race, worst case scenario, I think it's wild card 2. I think it's these 4 teams that are gonna make the playoffs in one way or another. But I just don't think they're gonna do anything in the playoffs, especially because they're gonna have to get past one of the Leafs, Lightning, Canadiens, the Panthers. And then if they get past one of them, they're gonna have to play the best of the other 2. So like again, I don't think they're gonna get past those 2 teams, but I think they're gonna make the playoffs and maybe give those teams a run for their money for sure.
I feel like what's that team's name?
What team?
Like this one?
Flyers.
No, this one.
Flyers.
Oh, I feel like the Flyers. Since you said like they have to go through past those ones, I feel like if they get past some of them, I feel like they will run into the Mammoths. And if they run,
Mammoths are on the other conference. They're playing with the like Knights and Kings and Blackhawks and Blues and Oilers and Wild and Avalanche.
So what about the Panthers?
Panthers are in the other conference. Panthers are playing with the Hurricanes, Capitals, Lightning, Canadiens, Sabres, Leafs.
So if the Flyers run into the Panthers will wreck.
Yeah.
We get a wrecking on.
They would have to play in the conference finals likely. At least the Flyers get a wild card spot, but I think the Flyers are a playoff team 100%. You know what, low-key, I'm about to put them up here just because they play in a weaker like side of the bracket, so I could see them making the conference finals. I don't think it's gonna happen.
That's a valid point.
But it could realistically happen. I could see them getting there, but I just don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're necessarily better than these teams. I could just see them potentially having a higher chance of making a deeper run. I think they're gonna finish 3rd in the Metro. I'm probably gonna have them here. I'm gonna do it like this.
Yeah, this is even more valid. But the Canadiens right there.
Are we gonna do like based off of standings, like what teams I think are gonna be more safely in the playoffs, or what teams I think are necessarily better? If we're doing what teams I think are better and like have a higher chance of going to the cup, like in general, I think this is a pretty fair like. I think a higher chance of going to the cup. I think this would kind of be like what I'm thinking.
That would be not valid.
This is kind of what I'm thinking because based off of like divisional stuff, because the Flyers, I think they're really defensively sound. I think they have a good goalie. I think they got more star talent, a full year Porter Matone.
They got a lot of stuff.
I think they're good. I think they're decent. I think they have good talent. Like Travis Konechny, Matone, Zegers.
Chance to get past any team that could be. If they make it to the Final Four with a team that they know is better than them, they're gonna wreck.
Yeah, definitely.
So they have to watch out where they're going.
They also got the Detroit Red Wings, who are stinky. I believe one of the worst teams in the league next year. They're just in a tough division because I think realistically they're probably better than the Flames, better than the Canucks, probably better than the Islanders, low key. I think Raymond's a 90-point scorer. I think DeBrincat's a 40 and 40 guy. They're trading Larkin, and that sucks. I'm gonna put them like here.
Top 5 worst.
I think they're there. They're in a really tough division. Obviously, they're gonna trade Larkin likely. So assuming they trade Larkin, the decor is gonna be all right. Like the defensive depth can be bad, and goaltending is questionable. I think they're right there. I think they're a stinky team. They're just not good. And then you got the Jets. You know, the Jets are definition of right here. They're just not good enough to get in a wild card spot. You also got the Wild, who are going to be towards the top of the wild card spot. I have them getting the first wild card spot. I think this team doesn't have any forward depth whatsoever. Like, they have, like, one line, and that's Bodie and Kaprizov and Quinn Hughes. But when you got those 3 and 2 great goalies and a good decor when it comes to defense, that's all you need. That's literally all you need. And I think that's all when it comes to the regular season, it's going to be enough to get them in a wild card spot. Predators, close but not quite there. They're not stinky, but they're just not going to be really close to the wild card spot. Rangers, they're stinky, but they're the top of stinky. They're like stinky, but like right below this tier, but like towards the top of stinky. Like one of the better stinky teams, you know? Senators, I think they're going to finish towards the bottom of the Atlantic, but they're still going to be a decent team. They're not really stinky. They're just not going to be that, not going to, I think they're here.
Used to be like a very good team, and now they kind of drain.
Yeah. Sharks are a wild card fight, in my opinion. I think they're right there. I think the Sharks 100% could. They were pretty close to wild card spot last year, and I think they got better. So, Stars, I think they're a playoff team. If you're looking at, they could get better.
Dallas Stars.
I think since they got Robo back, low key.
Look, yeah, low key, they probably are a better team now.
They're right there. I'm gonna put them there. Are they better? You have better. I think they have a better shot than the Lightning.
What about the Mets? Ooh.
Listen, I think this team has concerns, but they're in a relatively weak, like, top-end conference, I believe, in my opinion. And call me crazy. Call me crazy if you want. I don't really care. I don't think the top-end talent of this division's as stacked this year. I think the Avalanche have a mediocre middle six. Wild have no forward depth. And I think the Mammoth are good. I think the Avalanche still can be good. I just, I think there's a path where they could definitely get to the conference finals over a team like the Canadiens, who is in a tougher division, Lightning, who is in a tougher division, Mammoth, who are with them, but I think they have more experience. Yeah. But if you're gonna do like who's a better team, I think we should do like who's a better team. Because if we're doing who's a better team, I think this would be a completely different situation. I think we're just gonna put them like here for now. I think
if we're doing better teams, I feel like Mammoth would be first or second.
I think the Mammoth are like up.
Oh.
If we're talking strictly better teams, I think the Leafs would be up there. Should we have like this? The Lightning gotta be up there too, man. I think we're gonna do what likely. Yo, Nightbomb, what are we doing, dude?
A Nightbomb. You're trying to stop my great brother from doing streaming?
No, he must have been spamming because my Nightbot told him to stop spamming.
Spamming?
Dude, I think, did you just time you out? There's actually no way you just got timed out of my stream, or did he warn you? No, he can't, I can only time you out. Nightbot can't time you out. He doesn't have that authority. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
He's just a Nightbot, Okay, listen. I feel like we could do this. We're gonna do like odds to go there. Odds. How do we want to do this? You want to do like who's the better team?
I feel like it could be fair. I feel like we could do it by like fairness. We could.
We're just not gonna rank them. We're just gonna keep them in tiers, but not rank them in the tiers. Oops. I feel like that's fair.
Tiers.
Just tiers. Okay, this is no order. I take that back. There's no order. These are just teams at this point.
These are just teams.
They're just teams. I put like 3 Dino dances on there. I know. I had a thing where if you're spamming, it's supposed to tell you to stop, but I don't think you're spamming. I think you're doing fine. So I won't time you out. Wanna do Ducks? Ducks. They're gonna be a wild card fight. I think they'd be there.
I feel like they would at least be like.
I think they'll be fine. They have one of the worst D cores in the entire league. They have one good defender, and that's it. Goaltending was already questionable as it is, but now it's even more questionable because they have no defense. They do have a decent forward core. I don't mind the forward core, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep Gaucher at this rate. And I don't know. It seems really questionable. I could see that if they don't get Gaucher, they're going to move down here. If they do get Gaucher, you'll keep him as of right now. We'll put him right there.
Can I say something?
You go ahead.
About the Ducks?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if they were in the wild card fight, I feel like there would be 3 teams, and that's the Sharks, Blackhawks, and the Wild. I don't want to say anything else, but I just want to say that I feel like the Ducks would beat the Sharks, the Blackhawks, and the Wild.
Yeah.
They would be able. They do that a lot. They do beat up.
Bruins close, but not quite there. I'm gonna put them like up here. I think the Bruins. Actually, we're not ranking them. I forgot. My bad. But yeah, I think Bruins obviously have Pastrnak, top 10 player in the league, around probably like top 7, maybe 6, like top 6 to 8 player in the league. Elite guy. And then you also got other pieces like Geeky and Zaka and JJ Paterka now. And then defense D-core has always been pretty good when it comes to defense. And they got 2 good goalies, including Jeremy Swayman, who's at his best definitely a top 10 goalie in the league. So again, could have some potential to be decent, but just not really up there with the other teams. Avalanche.
It's like wild card fight.
I think they're a cup contender just because I
Oh.
think they're the best out of the Central Division, and I think that if they are the best out of the Central Division, that put them in the conference finals. If you go to the conference finals, anything can happen. So I'd put them in the cup contenders.
But you don't think they're better than the Knights or like the Hurricanes?
I'd put the Oilers up there too. I think the Oilers have a very good and deep forward. I think they have a deep forward core. Obviously, they have the best player in the world and another top 5 player. They have a good D core, very underrated D core in my opinion. And they have Frederick Anderson, who just won the Stanley Cup. And yeah, they have this team 100% cup contender. And then the Kraken, right now the
Kraken
Loki
used to be
kind of stinky.
my favorite before I started liking the Blackhawks, and then I started liking the Panthers.
The Loki kind of stinky. Mid. What?
I want to say that I feel that I just want to say something about the Oilers.
What?
I feel like in order for them to be a good team, they need to win at least like 1 or 2 Stanley Cups, because even with one of the best players on the roster right now, they still lost to the Panthers
Twice.
last year. Twice.
2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago and 2025.
Yeah.
And that's how Panthers won 2 in a row Stanley Cups. Dang it! I keep saying World Cup.
Stanley Cup, but yeah, that's the tier list. Cup contenders tier: the Florida Panthers, Carolina no order. None of these are in order ranked, by the way. It's not
That's
really.
our opinion.
Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, Washington Capitals, Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche, Edmonton Oilers. Those are the teams that I really think could win the Stanley Cup. Playoffs teams are going to be in the playoffs. Kind of like you never know, but I don't really think the Cup contenders. Maple Leafs, Canadiens, Utah Mammoths, Tampa Bay Lightning, Dallas Stars, Philadelphia Flyers, Buffalo Sabres, Los Angeles Kings. In the wild card fight, Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues, Chicago Blackhawks, San Jose Sharks, Columbus Blue Jackets, Pittsburgh Penguins, and Ducks.
Bro.
Close but not quite there. New Jersey Devils, Winnipeg Jets, Utah Senators, Ottawa Senators, Nashville Predators, Boston Bruins, Stinky, New York Rangers, New York Islanders, Seattle Kraken, Detroit Red Wings, Vancouver Canucks, and the Calgary Flames. We gotta quickly skim through this here. Say what you gotta say.
I want to say something to you. Look at the chat.
I know it's fine.
Nightbot. What are we doing?
Nightbot's fine. Nightbot didn't do anything anymore. We're doing PWHL transactions over the past few weeks. Gonna look through Abby Newhook to the Boston Fleet. Yeah, nothing really crazy happening. Nothing really much happening. Haley Wynn, 1-year standard player agreement extension. That's a pretty big thing. Abby Newhook, obviously, is a pretty big player there. Yeah, anything else here you guys want to look at? But yeah, we'll talk more about that in the upcoming weeks. More about PWHL stuff, and obviously we do our predictions of that as well. College hockey updates. NCAA officials named Fulton as his new head coordinator on ice rules regarding trapezoids and hand passes recruiting window. New Hampshire shows a St. Cloud State player movements. Yeah. That's kind of that. First, while Boston College secured his first ever WHL prospect commitment in Matthias Van Heinen. So yeah, it's always interesting when you see one of those. AHL updates. Couple of coaching changes here, including Hall of Famer Chris Bork as assistant general manager, and adding Denver Manderson and Greg Moore as assistant coaches. Hershey Bears named Lewis Roberto as assistant coach, and yeah, player signings in retirement and stuff like that. So nothing too crazy, but we got some stuff happening there as well. CHL updates and team news over the past week. Helinka Gretzky Cup roster, total 56 CHL players go in their leadership roles. Returning defenseman Porter DuPont was named captain for Team Canada. He's supposed to be Landon DuPont. I don't know who Porter DuPont is, but anyways. Couple of roster signings and stuff like that. Same thing as the USHL here. Gretzky Cup 23-man roster for the USA. World Juniors West Coast expansion framework announced slightly prior to the 7-day window that we finalized. They're targeting 6 expansions, which is happening in 27-28, I believe. San Diego, Orange County, which is where Ducks play. Simi Valley, North Carolina, Phoenix, and Prescott Valley aiming for the 27-28 launch, backed by hockey figures. So yeah, there's going to be 6 new USHL teams after the season, so that'll be fun. That's kind of what we're doing there. So interesting that the USHL is getting 6 new teams. I'm fun to see what they do with the conferences and everything like that. CHL, nothing too crazy happening. I think we'll talk more about that when we come to like the predictions for like CHL predictions. Same thing with the AHL, PWHL. We're gonna talk about all of those when it comes to predictions and throughout the entire season. When it's off season, it's not a whole lot we can talk about. But when it comes to like making predictions, and obviously throughout the regular season, there's a lot more to talk about, and I'll give you a lot more information when it comes to that stuff. So just, I'm not trying to breeze by any of the junior leagues, AHL, college hockey, PWHL. I'm starting to get into PWHL lately, so I'm not that knowledgeable in that quite yet, but I'm getting there. USHL, I've been knowledgeable in that for a while, but it's tough to come off the off season for junior league, similar thing to CHL. And in college hockey, it's also kind of hard to keep track of during the off season. So again, when it comes to predictions and throughout the regular season, throughout the entire season as a whole, there's a lot more information to be there. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about there. But yeah, that's gonna do it for August 4th, 2026 edition of Hockey Thursday. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next video. Peace.